guys, let's go fishing.
All right.
Hey, friend, there's already one down here.
Come on, Bryn. Should we try to catch a fish?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what's down this way.
Hi, I'm Bob Jensen. This is Fishing the Midwest. Thanks for stopping by. We're in northeast South Dakota, just north of Webster, South Dakota. This area has 40 different lakes and they're all full of fish. We're with Joe Honer and Jim Sire. We're going to be chasing walleyes and northern pike. We're also going to be talking about how ethanol is an important part of our energy's future. First though, let's get out and catch some fish. Here we go. Whenever I want to get in on a good walleye bite, I give Joe Honer a call. Joe's a fishing and hunting guide in northeast South Dakota and is about as automatic as it gets when it comes to catching walleyes. He really has the lakes in that part of South Dakota figured out. Regardless of weather conditions, Joe can almost always find a lake that will produce action. Jim Sire lives in the Watertown area and gets in the water whenever he can. He's involved in the ethanol industry. He's one of the people who are working hard to help us develop a clean and secure energy future. We'll talk more about that later. It's mid-October, and I started out catching a big one. This one feels pretty good. He whacked that thing. I just came off a weed, and he just really whacked it. Oh, he's staying down. Here he comes. He's getting closer. There he is. Ooh, nice walleye.
Boy,
Ooh, look at that guy. Whoa. Oh, man. Whoa.
Nice job, Bob.
Jeepers. Wow, look at that hook came off. Jim, you did a great job with the net. Perfect timing. Look at that guy. Teeth in the net there. Ooh.
There we go.
Look at that. Wow.
Beautiful.
Oh, man. That is a big one, isn't it? Look at that. Look how nicely colored she is. Wow. Isn't that a nice one? Get her back. We kept moving along until someone got another hookup. Looks like someone could use some casting practice.
There you go.
Thanks, Joe. Then Mr. Northern Pike came along. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about the lakes in northeast South Dakota. You never know what's going to eat your bait. Could be a walleye or a northern or a perch or a smallmouth bass or a largemouth bass. The fishing is always interesting. There, okay. Thank you. Jim has a background in fishing. It's important to him for several reasons.
You know, Bob, we've been fishing since probably since I was about 5 years old. Started out with bullheads, moved up to walleyes on the Missouri River, and even out when I lived in Colorado, I fished for trout out there. My grandpa used to take us fishing near where I grew up, and we started on bullheads, and sometimes we'd catch 2 or even 3 to a line. We had the old crappie rigs, and we fished with an old 14-foot fiberglass boat, loaded it in the back of the pickup, carried it, dropped it in the water, and it had a little 9-horse motor, and we got our spinners out and our bottom bouncers and caught walleyes. That's the good part about fishing. I mean, it's just something you pass on from generation to generation, and it's something you don't have to be real good at. It's all about family time and social. Sometimes even when you're not catching fish, it's great just to be out among friends. Social aspect.
These areas where fishing don't look like traditional walleye spots, but in this area of South Dakota, the walleyes are often near the flooded trees. That's where their food is. We're casting to wind-blown areas where deep water comes close to the shore. Jim and I are throwing number 7 flicker shad baits in the chrome cloud color. But later in the day, we started switching colors. Different colors produced all through the day. Whenever you're fishing, keep in mind that when the fish quit hitting the color or bait they've been hitting, it's time to try a different color or bait. I'm using my favorite rod and line setup for crankbaits. It's a 6-foot, 6-inch Abu Garcia Veritas spinning rod in the medium heavy action with 14-6 fire line. The fire line is tough stuff that allows for good hook sets and prevents breakoffs. That Veritas rod does a great job of casting the baits, getting the fish away from the timber, and it also detects soft strikes very well. A medium-sized Abu Garcia or Fluger reel completes the package. As I mentioned earlier, Jim works in the ethanol industry, Here's why he believes that ethanol is an important part of our future. You know, Jim, this area of northeast South Dakota really is an outdoors person's paradise, isn't it? I mean, walleyes, northern pike, perch, Canadian geese, ducks, pheasants, all that stuff. The outdoors is pretty important to you, isn't it?
It's very important, Bob. It's very important to me. It's very important to my descendants. It's important to corn producers and farmers. A lot of the farmers and producers in this area hunt, they fish, they do all the kind of things that we've been doing today. And they have the most at stake for taking care of the land, and I view these producers and farmers as true environmentalists.
Was he out of ways, Joe?
No, he hit right under the boat.
Ooh, he's fat, isn't he? Gee.
Hey, chubby.
Boy, yeah.
Chubby fellas.
Yeah. Wow. What are they eating?
A lot of shrimp. There's a lot of food, a lot of hatch in the lakes, you know, a lot of minnows.
Look how fat he is. Boy, that new crankbait that Joe has is really catching fish. When we come back, we'll take a closer look at it. Stay tuned. These folks make the products that will help you catch more fish. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Gulp Alive, looks, feels, tastes alive. Northland Fishing Tackle, the fisherman's favorite. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. The walleyes are biting on crankbaits. Let's go catch some. Whoa, that is another nice one. Look at, whoa.
You don't want up, does he?
Ooh, man. Look at that guy. Woo. Whoa, that's another nice one. Gee, oh man.
Get eyeballs on that big old boy.
Whoa, look at that. You get a lot in that size, Joe?
In here we have been, yeah.
Yeah, in this timber,
beauty.
throughout the various lakes.
Yep.
Yep. Wow. That's a
Look how thick that fish is.
Yep.
Got a square back.
Yep. Yes. Wow. And what is the regulation in most of these lakes?
It's minimum 15. They gotta be over 15.
And it's 1 over 20.
Yep.
And a lot of the lakes are a 2 fish limit, 2 walleye limit.
No, only 2 are. Most of the lakes are 4 with 8 in possession.
I see.
Yeah.
Joe is using a pretty unique style of crankbait. It's called a Sabile flat shad snagless. In this heavy timber, the snagless feature is pretty important. Jim and I lost a couple of crankbaits in our afternoon in the water. Joe has been fishing the flat shad snagless for several months and still hasn't lost one. Here's why this bait works so well in these conditions.
Sabile flatback shads, he's got just a twin hook on it, and it actually runs in the water like that. And so when it hits some timber, it just tips upside down. I have not lost one all year. I throw it real aggressively into the timber, and it's got lead in it, so it sinks to the bottom as far as you let it go, or else you can run it 2 feet up too if you just start reeling it right away. It's got a very wide wobble to it. The reason I have a leader on it is I don't have very many of them, so I put the leader on so I wouldn't lose them to the northerns. Well, I found with the wide wobble that it doesn't affect the action at all, and I have no problem catching walleyes with the leader on. I haven't noticed any difference between leader on and leader off. There's some lakes that don't have northerns around here, so we run it without the leader, and we haven't seen any difference whatsoever.
Here's the reason Joe uses a leader when he's throwing that flat shad.
Over here in the front, bigger northern, that's what it is.
Oh, pretty decent one.
Nice 30-incher there, huh?
Oh yeah, that is a nice one. He's healthy too, isn't he?
Yep.
This fish is really healthy. Ethanol production also has a huge impact on employment and the economy in rural areas. Jim had this to say about that.
I believe, and we believe, that it's the best rural development opportunity to come along in the last couple of decades. We've got counties here in South Dakota, Potter County, Edmonds County, Walworth County. Some of those counties have had double-digit declines in population over the last 20, 30 years, and with a strong commodity market, with the opportunity for rural jobs, and perhaps even the next step beyond corn-based ethanol into cellulosic ethanol, there's additional opportunities. The benefits of the ethanol industry, lots of spin-off benefits. Any company that manufactures farm equipment is having times like they've never had before.
Oh, there he is.
Joe, how are you working that bait?
I'm working it pretty slow. I throw it out there and let it hit the bottom once, and then I work it real slow.
So you're able to work that slower than you would a crankbait?
Oh yeah, that's what I like. You betcha. You can slow roll it. It's got a real wide wobble to it.
There he's coming up out there. There he is. And you think that makes a difference? It is today, it seems like.
Well, I think when them fish are off a little bit, or they're not going to jump up and chase the crankbait fast,
Yep.
they'll still hit this thing. Whoa.
When we come back, we'll be catching more walleyes. Stay tuned. The Fishing the Midwest fishing team uses and appreciates the efforts of these people. Abu Garcia for life. Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter of hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Freybill, trusted gear since 1938. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. The skies are completely clear now, and the walleyes are still biting. Here we go.
Yeah. What do we got?
Ooh, fish there?
Little gator.
Northern pike. You want to net him, Joe, or do you want to grab him?
I can get him.
You get him? Have you been getting quite a few northerns, Joe?
They're just starting to come back in here.
Seems like there's a lot of them in that 2 to 3 pound range.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, Jim, there are people who say that ethanol harms the performance of the motors it goes into. What do you say to that?
There's no evidence that ethanol harms engines. We have a living example right now as we speak with NASCAR burning the E15, and I follow NASCAR. I haven't heard about any issues. I think I saw the other day where they had over 1 million miles on E15. Their performance, the higher octane, these guys abuse these engines, and they run them at high speeds, they run them at higher RPMs, and I believe that if there was any fear of issues with ethanol, that they would have never moved to that fuel in the first place.
While we move to another spot, let's find out about a product from Cabela's. Terry, you know, we spend a lot of time out in the sun, and I've been hearing a lot about this Made in the Shade clothing. What's the story there?
The big thing, Bob, with the Made in the Shade clothing is the 50 UPF.
Is that like a sun protection factor, same thing?
Exactly.
Is it really?
And these are really comfortable shirts on them hot, sunny days. We have the polos. And then myself, I actually like the long sleeve t-shirts better. If you sweat, it's got a fast drying wicking process. And it's also available in 10 colors. And they're only available at Cabela's.
Thanks, Terry. That's why I go to Cabela's for all my outdoor needs. They have all the newest stuff that will help me enjoy my fishing and outdoors even more. Here's what we're pulling those crankbaits through. Those are trees and brush down there. That's where the walleyes live in these lakes. Man, that depth finder draws a nice picture, and today we're really enjoying our fishing action. See a swinger, Joe, or are you gonna net him?
I can net him as long as he's a little feller.
I just had one follow me up. Followed right to the boat.
You almost always get them right there. You don't never get them down in that throat. That's what I like about it.
Oh, I got one.
There's one. Oh, look at there. There's a bunch of them down there. I had a bite. Joe just caught that one. You just caught that one?
All over.
They're all over. Jim, you just switched colors in that guy, didn't you?
Yeah, it was, you got a nibble too, so they're not too particular about the color of the way it
I'm not
looks.
sure color is a big deal right now. It's just get that bait out there. I missed 2 right there, just like that. Good. Now this is kind of a unique technique, throwing crankbaits in the timber, but it's working big time today. We'll be right back. For more fishing success, check out these outstanding products. WalleyeCentral.com. More walleye information than you can handle. Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters. Nanofill, the next generation in fishing line. Welcome back to Fishing the Midwest. The walleye bite in northeast South Dakota continues. Let's get back out there. What is it, Joe?
I don't know,
You
I
see
got
it?
him way out there.
Oh, he's right there. There you go. There you go. Boy, these are healthy looking fish, aren't they? Just nice, healthy.
Big fish.
Joe, when you're throwing these crankbaits, what sort of area are you looking for? Is there any, specific thing you're looking for?
Anything with a lot of brush, weed lines, earlier in the year, during the summer, early in the year to upcoming, pretty much same as everywhere, your upcoming weeds, and then right along the weed lines in the summer, and then in the fall we fish more brush.
Those of us who like to go fishing or hunting or anywhere need to put gas in our trucks and cars and boats. Because of ethanol, fuel prices are lower. Jim explains.
The benefit of ethanol has kept petroleum prices low, gas prices at the pump low. There's been a study that if it wasn't for ethanol, we would pay about 85 cents more per gallon.
Our environment is so important to all of us. Here's what ethanol has done to enhance our environment.
The best example I can think of for a positive impact on the environment is, of course, the emissions. I mean, the major metropolitan areas in this country, and I lived out in Denver, Colorado for years, and I was there when they switched from MTBE to ethanol. And there's a reason they went that direction. It burns cleaner, it's better for the environment.
Oh, he hit that clown again, that clown color. Got him. Good. Isn't that fun? That's the perfect size for the frying pan too, isn't it? There we go. There.
Another nice one.
Yeah, and that's on that bait that Joe's using.
Just tightened up.
Did it?
Yep, just,
Well, he said it's like when they hit a jig. It's like a jig, and you were working it slow?
yeah.
Jim has these thoughts on why the domestic production of fuel is so important.
Ethanol production, it's a homegrown fuel, it's an American fuel. I guess I've got kind of a saying, and this is maybe a saying that we have in the industry. When was the last time that we sent troops to Iowa or South Dakota or Minnesota to guard the cornfields? It just doesn't happen. I think the other aspect of this industry, a lot of these ethanol facilities are owned by the investors in this area. When we generate cash, we don't send that cash overseas. It stays right here. It reinvests and certainly goes to promote more rural development. He's almost unhooked.
Oh, he can unhook now. Oh, look at that. He just barely had it.
Yeah.
And he followed it all the way out to the boat, didn't he? I mean, he
Yeah.
was right there. Huh. I saw that. Something that those of us who support ethanol would really like to see is more flex fuel vehicle availability and more blender pumps. Those two components would truly give us an option. We could use whatever fuels we wanted to. We'd have an option. And options are what all of us want and deserve. A couple of times, Joe and I referred to the flatback shad. This bait was so new to both of us that we didn't know its correct name. The right name is the Sabile Flat Shad Snagless. It truly is snagless, and it's a winner when you're fishing near timber or areas where there are lots of snags. Boy, what a day on the water. We caught big walleyes and eating-sized walleyes. We had a good time. That's why we go fishing. If you want to get into this action, you've got to give Joe Honer a call. He'll put you on the fish in any season. As the moon rose over the northeast corner of South Dakota, we headed to the town of Webster. We were staying in Webster at the Galley. The Galley is one of my favorite motels around. The rooms are large and clean, so's the parking lot, and the restaurant connected to the Galley has great food, a nice salad bar, all the good stuff. Good fishing, good food, good friends, that's about as good as it gets. Boy, this area of South Dakota can provide such good fishing for a wide variety of fish and for some big ones. If you want to get into this action, be sure to give Joe Honer a call. You know, the more I learn about ethanol from independent studies and from current data, the more I realize we have got to continue to use ethanol as a primary source of our energy. It provides performance, it's good for the environment, and it creates jobs. Hey, for all of us at Fishing the Midwest, thanks for stopping by. Be nice to one another. We'll see you again next time.